Hi there, Dr. Gary here on the road. We sell dental practices nationwide. We are dental practice brokers. I was a dentist for 25 years and now doing the brokerage for 15 years, and it's my company. Today's topic is multiple activities and participation needed by the broker to put the dental deal through to the closing table. We'll let you know what that was about in a bit. So as you know, I've been doing, we have 10 employees now. We're in 25 states. I think we're going to be opening up Missouri soon. And just continue to grow. We're available for you 363 days a year. We take off Christmas and Easter. And you can reach us at 201-663-0935. Or you can reach us on the website dentalpracticeguide.com or Dental Practice Brokers, nationwide dentalpracticebrokers.com. So just give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you and assist you. Now, as we move on, as you know, the information we're about to give you is for entertainment purposes only. Need the glasses. We've got a bright one here in New Jersey. Only for entertainment purposes, not legal advice. Also, if you're thinking about selling to the DSOs, call us, large corporate. You know, as you know, they're looking for a practice $1 million plus, 5 operatories usually. And we can assist you there because often they will pay our commission, but you got all our expertise, knowledge of 15 years, plus I was a dentist for 25, plus our 2 CPA accountants. We have a lot to offer and you can learn a lot, not costing you any extra really. Because the commission's being paid by the DSO. And also as a bonus, you have practice that closes over $1 million, goes to successful closing, we will reimburse sellers' attorney fees. I don't know if any other broker in the country doing that now. That's for the seller only. It has to, just have some small criteria you got to meet. But we'll take care of you. All right, so let's get into what's going on with this deal I'm working on now. There's a lot of work that goes on by the broker behind the scenes that you as a seller will never see. And unfortunately, the seller doesn't have the contacts that we will. For example, we set the foundation up for the practice sale in the beginning, making sure that the buyer has a great dental attorney, seller has a great dental attorney, and the buyer has a reliable, great dental bank. So fortunately on this most recent deal, the doctor didn't have my best choice of attorneys, but they were dental attorneys, so that was at least sufficient. So they each had their own dental attorney, and the buyer had 2 dental banks. One of the dental banks I knew was trouble. It's like, no way, get away from them. And I advised them accordingly. We don't want to talk about it on the public airways, but in private we can. I advised them to get away from them because they will be a headache. They will take forever to go to close. Same thing for one of the participants, buyer or seller attorney. I happen to know that fellow's a great guy, but works very slow. I mean, really slow. So you've got to be aware of this and work around it. You've got to be prepared. This is what the broker's doing. First, you set up the foundation. Dental attorneys, dental bank. That's your foundation. If something's going to go wrong, at least you've done that to set that up. And you have attorneys that are prepared to handle virtually any bit of chaos. So that works. And luckily on this deal, we have a lot of different issues. Now, I know the banker. I could talk to the banker. The seller can't. Now, the seller's attorney might be able to talk to the banker if they have a relation. If not, they're just going to push, give them some light talk. I know the banker. I send the banker a lot of work. All I want in return is get my deals closed. So I stay on top of every single moving part. And I knew that the buyer's attorney was a good guy, but slower, or good gal, a slower moving attorney. And I know that they had to be constantly informed. We got to push them. And if they requested a document, expedite and try to get them that document, whether it's for you, it's for the landlord, whatever. So we knew that. Now, the buyer had some issues with their tax returns. Their profit losses that weren't close to the tax return. We had to get the accountants to explain the situation and what the discrepancy was. We're doing this behind the scenes. Again, the banker will talk to me. He's not talking to the seller. So we've got to get all that support in there. The next problem we're having on this deal is the landlord. We're trying to get the deal closed like any day now, and the landlord just does dribs and drabs of information release. Just dribs and drabs. He's not doing anything significant to help the deal. The reason why landlords don't want to lose a tenant who pays rent every day, every month online, and pays and doesn't bother them. Pay your rent, don't bother me. That's the message of the landlord. He likes those kind of buyers. So, but we worked it out. We worked it out real well. And we found out from the banker that the buyer is okay. There was some issues with the buyer's tax returns. But we talked to them. We gave some explanation. We were the go-between to explain why the buyer's tax returns are down. Because, of course, the bank is going to review everybody's tax return. Buyer, seller, everything. So they'll scrutinize that. So fortunately, we were in communication. Now, the bank let me know early. I was therefore able to communicate to the buyer early on there's an issue that's coming up, especially what happens when you do the UCC filing search and you see that there's a lien on the property or something. There never was a lien. It was always wrong. Or there was a lien at one point, but it was paid off and they didn't satisfy the mortgage. And that should have been done. So, behind the scenes, we're finding out all these issues. Plus, we had another situation. The only reason the seller's practice was down in the previous year, which is not a good sign, is that they were injured and they were hospitalized for a few weeks and then rehab for a few weeks. So you can imagine. But you have to have that explanation right away to the banker. Explain, here's what happened. That's why you have a dip in productivity. It's actually technically doing very well. But they see it on a graph, they see it on a memo that the seller's attorney went down in value. Now they're starting to recalculate, and not a good situation. So we'll go over more of that with you as time progresses. But suffice to say, this buyer almost lost this deal. So we had to go in there and do some patchwork. The next patchwork we're doing is trying to get that landlord to the table. We'll try to close it in about a week or so. Now, I know for a fact that their attorneys, they're very good attorneys, but will not act proactively. So you got to get on their case the following Wednesday, Thursday. So from the come on the week or the home stretch, there's not a lot of time left. And you got to push it. We need the landlord's signature. So these are some of the things that go behind the scenes. I know many of you think you've done a few closings, you got it all figured out, but it doesn't work that way. All right, thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.